I spend a lot of time thinking about child support, and I can say one thing for sure. That is that the parent paying child support always feel like they pay way too much, and the parent who receives child support thinks it's never enough. In facing this reality that no one is ever really happy about child support, it led me to one very eye-opening question, and that is, what if child support didn't exist? Child support has existed in some form since ancient times, and has evolved to become a huge part of our modern court system. We spend obscene amounts of taxpayer money on the establishment and enforcement of child support to collect what seems like a fraction of the tax dollars that we spend chasing child support in the first place. All this aside, let's take a look at the big picture of this question. There are two rival schools of thought when it comes to child support. There are the supporters of child support and those who see child support as an oppressive violation of their rights. First, the supporters. Advocates for child support argue that without the system, custodial parents would fail to make financial ends meet, and far more single parents would become dependent on the state for programs such as food stamps and Medicaid. With no child support to drum up revenue for the states, these need-based programs would require raising taxes on everyone to make up the difference. Also, that without any financial responsibility, many parents would just disappear from the lives of their children, which would be emotionally harmful to these kids. Now that sounds pretty bleak, and I don't think anyone can argue that there's not some valid concern there. But there is the other school of thought that has a more positive spin on what would happen if child support wasn't around. The other side would argue that the states would save tremendous amounts of money if child support didn't exist, which is currently dedicated to the child support system. Money that could fund any needed expansion of the food stamp and Medicaid programs in the absence of child support, and the additional revenue for states that child support enforcement creates. This camp also believes that without child support, there would be less conflict in the child custody courts, and far more joint custody agreements where parents are equally sharing in the costs of raising children. This is an important point because the current formula that most states use to calculate child support has been criticized widely for its heavy weighting of overnight time with the kids, because it incentivizes parents to fight for more custody in order to get a better deal on child support. The argument could also be made that if child support didn't exist, that more couples would probably try to work out their differences and stay in relationships longer, which would result in more kids growing up in a home with both parents. While both sides of this argument certainly have valid concerns, I'm sure that the vast majority of us can agree that there has to be a better way to provide for kids than the current system. Lawmakers in many states are working on legislation that moves the courts toward a statutory presumption in favor of equal custody. I personally think this is a great idea and a huge step in the right direction. It would absolutely allow parents to share more equally in the financial responsibility of the kids during their time-sharing days, as it would lower court-ordered child support and possibly over time eradicate the need for court-ordered child support payments to be made. What's your take on this debate? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, then don't be shy with the thumbs up. And don't forget, we are currently accepting new subscribers. Thank you for hanging through to the end, and I'll see you in the next video.